Hello everyone, my name is Jose, and today I'm going to show you a quick demonstration on how Blar helped me fix my own bug, basically. So to give a little bit of context, I wanted to do a demo. So I wanted to sync all of my repositories and create a demo on how Blar works and whatever. So when syncing my repositories, I wanted to sync, in this case, this repository, that's our front-end repository, and suddenly this error occurred. And I was shocked, like this error hasn't happened before. What's all about? So I came to the logs and found out I had this error. This case can't decode byte at position 0, invalid start byte. And I said like, okay, how do I fix this? Let's ask Blar if it has any idea. So I gave the error to Blar, and basically here's the error. Here's an explanation. Blar, it's giving me why the error is happening. So in this case, it's attempting to decode a non-UTF-8 file, leading to this type of error. This can happen if the file is binary in a different text encoding. The scan directory method of graphbuilder.py reads the file content using file.read, which fails if the file is not UTF format. It gives me different hypotheses, in this case that the file being read is a binary file, or that the directory contains files with different encodings. It also gives me some files and functions to review. And finally, it proposed a solution. So in this case, in the graph builder, in the scan directory method, it says when you have this else, you should add this couple of lines. I'll get back to this in a minute. So how did Blar come up with this solution? Let's see. So Blar basically starts first in the entry point. In this case, our post method in our backend. So here it explains a bit of what this method is supposed to do, and that it calls create repo. That creates just the repo in our database and finally creates the repo graph. Inside this repo graph function, it's a very long function, as you can see, that does many things. But most importantly, in some point, it calls our scan directory method from our open source repository. So as you can see here, the agent jumps to our open source repository. You can see it right here that we're in a different repo. This is our backend, these are open source. And in this case, it went to build graph method. Build graph method calls the scan directory. And right here is where you have the error. You can also see it here. It's a bit more clear. So what does this method do? Basically, for each entry in a directory, it says if this file is parsable, then just parse it. But here's the problem. In this else, if we're trying to parse a language that's not supported by us, we simply try to make it a text node. So it's just a node that contains all the text that that file contains. But what Blar is telling me is that there may be some files that are binary or encoding with a different encoding. So what I did was test this hypothesis out. I came to our open source repo and I cloned our frontend here in examples and run the same function. So if you can see, if I run this, you'll get the exact same error. So I came to graph builder and, well, wanted to test the hypothesis. So basically, I simply added a print and run the function again. In this case, you can see right here that it's trying to process a logo.png, which of course it's a binary file, and that leads to the error. So the next thing I did was go to the proposed solution. In this case, to be perfectly honest, this isn't the exact proposed solution, but it's close enough. Because when I have this type of error, instead of trying to read it with another way, I simply want to skip that file. So in this case, I'll just add a continue, save the function, and run our code again. Let's see if now it processes our whole repo. And as you can see here, it's processing all of the files on our front end. And finally, we'll create the graph, creating the nodes and edges. So this is how Blar helped me fix my own bug. Thank you very much.